Hello, I'm Howard. I go by the screen name Postal0311. And first, I'd like to thank Tactical LEDs for giving me the opportunity to test the Desert Tan IR INFORCE light. This flashlight comes with clear, concise instructions in the box, which is a very good thing because it's a little more complex than it looks. A couple notes to start off with. It has a greased O-ring to increase water resistance, and a solid spring-loaded pin in the battery compartment to prevent you from being able to easily mess up springs. It's also clearly marked which way the battery needs to go in to work this light. Now, the latch has a spring-loaded latch to hold it onto your rifle's rail, and then it has a screw to limit the movement of the latch, holding it securely to your rifle. However, I don't know if this screw will stay in place under the vibration of a heavy firing schedule or long-term use. If I were using this, I'd place a drop of Loctite on the threads of the screw to prevent any problems. Now, one thing with this light is it's got an absolutely wonderful small form factor design. I was able to mount it on the top, bottom, left, and right side of the rails of my rifle, and I found the switch easy and pretty easily to hit and easy to use with or without a vertical forward grip. Problem being is it's a little bit complex in its modes, which make it less than ideal for some people. But before I cover the modes, I'd like to mention the lockout switch. You can move this physical block over the activation button to prevent something from brushing up against the light and activating it. But the good thing is you can still use the light with the lockout switch in place. Now, this light has several modes. If you go and press the button and hold it for more than half a second, when you release it, it'll turn back off. Or, if you press the button once and turn it on, if you wait more than 2 seconds and hit the button, it'll turn off. It also has a high setting and a low setting for the white light and the IR. To do that, you hit it to turn it on, and you hit it, and you hit it again within 2 seconds to turn it to the lower setting. You can also switch it around so it'll default to the low setting instead of the high setting. To use the strobe, you turn it on the bright, then you tap it twice to turn on the strobe. Now, there's a wide variety of different strobe speeds and brightnesses, and like any kid with a flashlight, first thing I would do was shine this in my face. And I hate to say it, but this strobe is nowhere near as unpleasant or disorienting as some other brands. In fact, this strobe was almost pleasant, shining it in my face or shining it in the mirror. And I personally don't think the strobe is that great of an addition, especially with its awkward controls trying to activate them. If you're one of these people that just like to, strobe the flashlight manually, you're gonna find the flashlight's gonna be doing all sorts of weird, not gonna be in the mode you want if you just try to rapidly work the button. Fortunately, on this light, you can disable the strobe by unscrewing the bezel, pressing and holding the button, and screwing it back in. And with the strobe disabled, you can strobe the flashlight manually far better. And I would highly recommend that to any of these people that like to manually strobe flashlights. In fact, I would highly, I don't particularly like the strobe on this flashlight. Now, compared to a Surefire vampire light, this light, of course, is far smaller and handier. It's also, I think, with the design of the button, far easier to use while you got the light on the rail. Also, unlike the vampire, which can be awkward to switch, this just has a single throw lever to switch it from IR to white light, which I think is far more convenient. Of course, the vampire being a two battery light was a little brighter had much farther throw and a little bit more spill. So if you're looking for maximum brightness, you'd probably look elsewhere. But for this form factor, I'd gladly give up a little bit of brightness for having this much smaller, much more compact light. The light from the INFORCE light was also a little yellower than the light from the Surefire Vampire, but to me that's negligible. It's not an issue. You wouldn't notice it unless they're side by side. Personally, I really like this INFORCE light, and I may end up buying some, but I really don't like their control system. I would much rather just have a basic model that was maybe press and click to turn on, and just press for momentary, and completely omit the strobe function entirely, or omit the high-low settings. With having the strobe on, trying to manually work the light fast can get awkward, and I think it's a great little light with a less than perfect human interface. If you have any questions, just feel free to post them after this review, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Unfortunately, at this time, I've not had the opportunity to test out the IR feature on this. I will do so, and post my results there on ar15.com. Thank you for your time.